And here's your host, Mike Gibson.
Welcome to Lang Park, and yes, it used to be the Poms, but in recent years the enemy has become those Kiwis from across the Tasman. And tonight our boys will be all out to make a clean sweep of it against them in this third rugby league test here at Lang Park. With us as usual, your commentators, Ian Maurice, Daryl Eastlake, and that master of rugby league repartee, Big Jack Gibson. Jack, how do you see this one going?
Well, I think that referee's going to have a tough game.
It's going to be a wild one?
Well, for this game to progress, we certainly need a little dignity in the game. I just feel it's going to be abandoned here tonight.
OK, shapes up as a wild one, and you stay there because we'll be back with the kick-off in just a moment.
Thanks, Mike. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our coverage from Lang Park in Brisbane of the third rugby league test between New Zealand and Australia. Well, the series is lost, but New Zealand can gain something out of tonight's game. They can gain 2 points for the World Cup. The first test played at Carlaw Park a few weeks ago in the rain, won by the Australians by 22 points to 8. And that great test match a couple of weeks ago in Sydney, and Australia winning that by 29 points to 12. And as I said, tonight's match being played at Lang Park in Brisbane on a beautifully fine night over there, so conditions will be perfect, does count for World Cup points. And our minds go back to 1983 at Lang Park when New Zealand beat Australia, ending a 16-match winning streak for the Australian side. New Zealand coach Graham Lowe has made a number of changes in the New Zealand side for tonight. He's brought Gary Prome into the centres. Mark Elia is out of the side. Darryl Williams comes in on the wing in replacement of Dean Bell, who of course is suspended. Also coming in Ron O'Regan, and also Brent Todd coming into the front row for Owen Wright. So there we are, the Australians coming onto the field now, and Television New Zealand, in association with the Lion Corporation, present coverage of the third rugby league test. So let's now join our commentary team of Ian Maurice and Daryl Eastlake.
Welcome back live to Lang Park in Brisbane, where Australia tonight are out to make a clean sweep of it in this third rugby league test against New Zealand. And as we await the Kiwis' entry onto the ground here, the big news in rugby league tonight, extraordinary news. Dr. Jeffrey Edelston, the part owner of the Sydney Swans, has made a takeover bid along with his wife Leanne of the Cronulla Sharks Rugby League Club. The doctor has put up a guarantee of some $2.5 million over the next 5 years, which would give him a controlling interest in the Sharks. It's yet to be approved by the New South Wales Rugby League or the members of the Cronulla Club. It has been approved by Cronulla officials in principle, although not yet in writing. And we'll be getting a reaction to that during the evening, especially from the coach of Cronulla, who's with us, of course, Big Jack Gibson. There's the Kiwis out on the ground. There's Big Mark Graham, the captain of the North Sydney club. And boy, don't they need to pull something out tonight, because they're looking at the wrong end of a whitewash. Kurt Sorensen, the man who could be on the wrong end of the green machine tonight, the man who started the second test in sensational style when he decked the Australian skipper Wally Lewis, and he better keep both eyes open tonight. And there he is, Wally Lewis, the Australian skipper, playing in front of this Lang Park crowd, a pretty good crowd here tonight. I'd say up near the 24,000-25,000 mark, and they've come along to cheer Wally, one of only 3 Queenslanders in this Australian team. An Australian team that has not been changed since their runaway win, 29-12 in that second test. Wally Lewis sparking his men up, men who know, of course, that if we win this one here tonight, they can almost pack their bags for that kangaroo tour. I very much doubt that any member of this team tonight, if they can clean sweep the Kiwis, won't be leaving on that kangaroo tour at the end of the year. And the team's now just waiting for the anthem. On a beautiful night here in Brisbane, a beautiful July evening, crisp and cool, a bit of nip in the air, nothing that should get in most Australian cities on a normal July night, but for the banana benders, they reckon it's cold. Here go the Kiwis about to perform their traditional haka. First of all, they get together and have a bit of a chat. as usual, the Kiwis whipping themselves up, as they always do before these matches. Fellas who play rather ordinary football in club games come out like men transform once they pull on this black and white Kiwi jersey, and it won't be any different tonight. Kiwi viewers across in the Shaky Isles who've just joined us, that was the Australian national anthem. Welcome to TV New Zealand for what promises to be a very tough and a very rugged third test. Let's have a look at the Australian team, unchanged since that second test in which they beat New Zealand 29-12. Gary Jack's number one, the fullback. Michael O'Connor and Les Kiss, a very nippy pair of wingers. Gene Miles and Brett Kenny in the centres. Kenny with a bit of an ankle problem. Wally Lewis and Peter Sterling the halves. Wayne Pearce is the lock forward. Little Stevie Folks having a great series, combining with Crusher Cleal in the second row. The Mean Machine up front, Peter Tunks and Steve Roach, and Royce Simmons is the hooker. Now here's the Kiwi side. The fullback is Gary Campbell. Had a pretty useful second test. Didn't do anything wrong. The wingers are Darryl Williams and Dane O'Hara in the centres. Big fella Joe Rapati and Gary Prome, who's moved back from the lock forward spot. Olsen Filipina and Gary Freeman are the halves. Ron O'Regan is the lock forward in the second row. A couple of top second rowers, Mark Graham and Big Hugh McGann. And in the front row, a tough nut, Kurt Sorensen. Barry Harvey's the hooker. And Brent Todd, who plays a bit of water polo. He's going to know all about that pretty soon. I hope he can play rugby league. He's the other front row forward. Your referee is Mr. Robin Whitfield from England, a controversial fellow, but a referee I like because he lets the game flow. That's what we like to see. That's what he likes to do. Okie doke, here comes Big Joe Rapati to kick off for New Zealand. Your commentator, Ian Maurice.
Time signalled on, and Joe Rapati starts this test match. Down for Peter Sterling, straight away to Les Kiss. Fine match he had at Sydney Cricket Ground just a week or two ago. So Australia with Royce Simmons making about 3 metres up towards the quarter line. Now Peter Tunks. So the first penalty of the match to Robin Whitfield. We get from Robin Whitfield to Australia. Well, an elbow to his face from the halfback, Gary Freeman. The Australians wouldn't hear that New Zealand were going to be very quiet. In fact, I spent some time with them today, and particularly the front row. They were expecting fireworks. Now, what can they do? Across to Lewis, to Tunks. Tunks has lost it. Retrieved by Gary Jack, but the referee Whitfield will play the knock on. And already some trouble brewing, and a penalty has gone to New Zealand. Back chatting, referee Whitfield straight away, taking no cheek from any side, and a couple of the Australians had something to say. So New Zealand take the penalty, and Kemble finds touch right on the quarter line. Mark Graham comes up to restart. To Harvey, now to Sorensen. Very willing to tackle Sorensen, 3 of them in there. Wayne Pearce, the principal defender. And the Kiwis spill it as Prone couldn't handle it. Pushing and shoving, plenty of talking out there as Sorensen was in to make the tackle on Lewis. Now penalty has gone to Australia. Kiwis too keen up inside the 5 metres. And you can watch their, well, a couple of them moving up far too quickly, and referee Whitfield penalising them straight away. They found touch, Australia. Now Royce Simmons taking the tap. Across to Sterling. Now to Lewis. And to Roach. "35 metres out from the Australian line. Simmons to Lewis. The run around with Simmons. Running off him was Pearce. And Pearce made good ground before he was put down by Freeman. And referee has given a penalty to Australia, and a high tackle from Ron O'Regan. Mark Graham in there to listen. And Graham Lowe watching intently as the penalty against O'Regan for going in high.
I hope they've done plenty of practice on their tap penalties, because it looks like there's going to be a lot of whistle.
Comments from Jack Gibson. And Jack, next year you could be coaching for a new boss.
Well, I've always got a boss, but I don't know whether I'm part of the deal.
Time will tell as Spokes comes away from the wall, right on the halfway mark. Sterling moves to dummy half, away to Jack, to Lewis. The run around with Jack, able to stand Jack, but no one to pass it to, and he's come in for some pretty heavy work too. Brent Todd in there to do some heavy work as Roach carries a couple of the Kiwi forwards with him. Inside New Zealand territory now in this third test match. Line side goes Sterling. Running off him was Cleal. Now Simmons back to dummy half. Away to Sterling and Lewis. The first kick from Lewis, looking for touch. Darryl Williams running back to retrieve it, and just picks it up before it rolls into touch. But oh, look at the green jumpers of Australia right onto Williams, putting him down in no uncertain terms on his own quarter line. Rapati running from dummy half. He comes in for similar treatment from this very enthusiastic Australian defence. Now it's Freeman to Prome. There's a gap there for Prome, a little room to move. Running strongly, Prome. Good run from the centre. They put Prome from lock out to centre for this match, thinking he'd stiffen the defence, but he's already shown plenty in attack.
This is where there's a great tackle there from our lock. Bring him down.
Now McGann inside Australia's territory as O'Regan works the run around and finally gets it away to Sorensen right on the halfway mark. Sorensen caught by Folkes, but able to offload back to the new prop forward Brent Todd. Back to O'Regan, the kick from him, but a penalty has been given to New Zealand. Australia this time too eager in defence. Well, plenty of penalties in the early stage of this match. New Zealand at least get the penalty.
Well, I think he's going to try for goal here. He's only maybe 40 metres out, 40 yards out.
Plenty of enthusiastic tackling, Darryl, in the first 5.
Well, it's gone the way we planned it. Everybody thought that it was going to be a pretty tough test, this one. There's a lot on the line for the Kiwis, just as much on the line for Australia. This side would like to stay intact for the Kangaroo Tour. And New Zealand, of course, not only chasing a win, but chasing some World Championship points. Now, this is a big kick. He's 10 metres in from the halfway line. But he's dead set in front, and there's very little wind to worry about. The wind, if anything, is behind him. Olsen Filipina. He'll only go back a few paces.
I doubt if he can make the yardage on this. This is be absolute maximum.
Yes, Jack, what little bit of breeze as there is behind him. The flags at the top of the poles just moving. That's about as many steps back as I've ever seen Olsen take. Crowd giving the Lang Park Raz, won't faze the big fella. Now playing with the North Sydney club in Australia. There it goes, ball's in the air. He certainly got the distance, but waved away. Waved away, Olsen Filipina, with a pretty brave attempt from that far out. The Australians will bring it back to the 22. Lewis now takes the kick for Australia. He's back for Kemble. Good fullback, this Kemble. Plenty of step about him, but the Australian defence there with Pearce. Smothering tackle, barrels him down. Out it goes now to Freeman, and he's a clever little player, this Freeman. On the second tackle, they're kicking, and he might just find touch. No, yes, he does. Gary Jack thought he had it covered. It's rolled into touch around about 8 metres out. Quite gee, that was a good kick from Freeman. I was saying he's a very nifty little player, this fellow. Had a big game at the Sydney Cricket Ground. Slams the ball down on the second tackle and finds the line. Now watch this scrum. Scrum turning around, Australian ball. Sterling wrestled down with it though very quickly. Pearce is dummy half. Out it comes for Gary Jack. Frame over the top. G. Miles. Oh, and barrel down, back slam down. There's plenty of defence going on here. One up high, one down low. Roy Simmons dummy half. Unloads to Tunks. The big man comes in and down they go. Gang tackles at the moment from New Zealand as Australia start to use the ball, but offside the Kiwis, so the penalty goes to Australia. 6 penalties been awarded in this match so far, and there it is, clearly the Kiwis offside. Well, plenty of stoppages so far, Jack.
Well, as we said earlier, I think he's going to keep that whistle up, and they're going to certainly see a lot of tap practice here, or see what they can do. And they
Australia with the ball. Simmons gets it onto Roach. Roach looks to unload, but tackled right on the halfway line. Simmons looks for runners. Noel Cleal. Crusher came on from about 10 metres back, and they swarm over him. Look at little Freeman on the top, hanging on, and that's Todd round the legs. But Australia made good ground there. They're midway on almost to the 22 now, only about 8 metres short. Barging stuff from Australia now as Sterling gets it out to Lewis. Lewis with a cutout pass. Goes on to Gary Jack, but he's put it down and the Kiwis will come up with it. Right, now the Kiwis on their quarter line. Run it out through Todd. Brent Todd, the man who is represented in water polo in New Zealand, now representing for rugby league. Sorensen. Oh, and Roach straight on him too. Simmons underneath. Harvey the hooker is dummy half. Goes back now to O'Regan. They get it on. Oh, and the referees pull it up and they're given a penalty straight away to New Zealand. Mark Graham looks a little surprised, but oh, he said swinging arm. We'll have a look at that again. Hugh McGann with a swinging arm and tackling without the ball, so the penalty has gone now to New Zealand, and Kemble finds the line. Right on the halfway line. Kiwis with the ball. 10 minutes gone. No score in the match so far. Runarounds going everywhere as Sorensen comes up, and they barrel Sorensen with some heavy work. Oh, it's plenty tough out there at the moment, let me tell you, as Freeman goes for a little gallop. I'm impressed with this fellow, Jack.
Freeman or the referee? I think the referee's had a coaching lesson over the last fortnight. He's never started a game like this before. But I'm not critical of him. If he sees it, he's got to blow that whistle.
Well, Todd pretty keen to run it up, Ian.
Interesting player, Todd, isn't he? Water polo representative for New Zealand. Talking to Steve Roach about that today, and Roach was quite impressed that he was a water polo player. In fact, he said he hope it doesn't rain too much tonight. New Zealand in possession with Sorensen. Getting a pass away, just been intercepted by Kenny. Kenny's got a pass away to Miles. And Miles caught 10 metres, and a penalty's gone to Australia again. There's a punch on. Well, Miles took the pass and they carried on with it. Tunks in there saying, get out of here. Well, Miles took the tackle. And the referee has, well, he's called time off. Sterling's had something to say. And Whitfield is telling him that he doesn't have to say anything. And here's the incident. The pass intercepted by Brett Kenny, got under a high tackle. He gets a pass away to Miles there. A bit of a trip, I thought, and then coming in over the top, and plenty of work from Crone going in on Miles. Combination of a trip and some heavy work as Australia now take the tap. Lewis, that long floating pass out there for Miles, and up to Jack, and a long pass out to Kiss. Kiss stepping inside the corner now, Les Kiss. Australia right on the attack as Kiss plays it. Away to Folkes. Straight up goes Folkes. Caught by O'Regan. Sterling dummy half. Away to Lewis. Switching play now with a pass back to Miles. And he's only 12 metres out. Simmons from dummy half. Simmons getting a pass away to Sterling. It's still on. Sterling's in to score. Australia's first try of this test match. Put that down to Roy Simmons. Peter Sterling scored it. But the work came from Roy Simmons. That's why they're congratulating him. Little Roycey Simmons from dummy half, a dummy. They've hung off him, still going. I thought he was just about caught here, but how did he get this pass away? Amazing pass to Sterling, and the work had been done from Simmons. Sterling had a virtual clear passage to the line, and Australia's first try is on the board.
If you go to sleep on Simmons, which they did, you wake up empty.
Well, Sterling carried on the good work. Now the try scored just to the left of the post. Michael O'Connor lines it up and makes no mistake. So with 27 minutes of the first half remaining, it's Australia 6, New Zealand 0. Well, that's the sort of start that Australia wanted, but from New Zealand's point of view, they looked like they were going to do something, Jack, but unable to carry on with it.
Simmons was too smart for them. He just went for to take it up that yard, and they just hung off him a little bit, and he made that break. But it was a great ball to get away into traffic like that.
There's the restart down for Sterling. Straight away giving it to Kiss. Kiss out of one, and driven back with a very, very good tackle from Mark Graham. Now it's across to Pearce. Just short of the quarter line. O'Connor. O'Connor is 30 metres out from his own line. Simmons, Sterling. Well, Australia in possession. Just
Could have had a recount there.
40 metres out. Last tackle is signalled. Back for Lewis. Down for Kemble. Nice bounce for the fullback. Inside for Williams. Beautiful tackle around the ankles by Peter Tunks. McGahn to Rapati. Rapati just short of the halfway mark. Australia 6, New Zealand nothing. Harvey. A mix-up in the New Zealand calling then. Harvey was forced to take the tackle on his own. This is Brent Todd. Straight into the waiting arms of Steve Roach and Tunks and Cleal. That's a handy trio to run into. Now O'Regan. Caught by Simmons and Tunks. Last tackle signal by referee Whitfield. New Zealand just inside Australia's territory. McGahn, the little kick through, but brilliantly taken by Cleal. Back to Roach. Well, a cover fieldsman would have been proud of that take. Pearce. Now here is the kick from McGahn, and look at Cleal. Up he goes. Lovely catch. 6 points to 0. Darryl, interesting match.
Sure is. Plenty of power from both sides at the moment, and plenty of pace being shown too by both sides. Perfect night for rugby league here in Brisbane. Australia leading 6-0 at the moment at Lang Park as Lewis drives the ball down deep inside the 22. Kemble back to take it up. Brings it back. The defence makes him know. He gets the ball off to Williams. Now this fellow's got plenty of pace. We haven't seen him run in the dry track yet. Bounces out of that, but the Australians ready. But they've stolen the ball. Wally Lewis has stolen the ball. He'll score it for Australia. Oh yes. Well, a bad mistake from Williams. He's lost the ball, and Lewis says, "Thank you. I'll take another 4 points." Well, this came out in other years. Williams were giving him a rap from how quick he is. They've read the play. Lewis has just pinched the ball, headed for the corner, and scored 4 points for Australia. Well against the runner play, Wally Lewis. Jack Gibson.
I don't think you're supposed to do that. He just picked it off him. He pickpocketed him. Yeah, Lewis nicks it there. When he comes out, he was free.
Well, Michael O'Connor with the conversion attempt, and that is a shell shock. The Kiwis, they're behind the line at the moment, and they are shell shocked. They can't believe it. A lot of emotion running high for Kiwis at the moment. Kurt Sorensen looking mean as ever as he sort of says, "What's happened here?" O'Connor now. Just a touch in from the 22, about 4 metres in. Ball in the air, but it'll be right across the face of the sticks. So the score remains Australia 10, New Zealand 0. Well, to our friends across the Tasman in New Zealand, I guess you're feeling a little bit down at the moment, but this side will come back. They're a good side. The two best sides in rugby league at it tonight, and so much at stake at the moment. Australia fighting to retain their positions for the Kangaroo Tour, and New Zealand certainly do not want to whitewash, but Australia have vivid thoughts of Carlaw Park last year when they were whitewashed 18-0 in that third game, and they're out for revenge, and the Kiwis have to get on the board. Australia with the ball now just outside their 22. Drafting at the moment, Australia. Russia Cleo getting a lot more involved tonight. Simmons dummy half. And Sterling has driven the ball down deep into the 22, and the Kiwis decide to run it out, and here's the man that just made the mistake. Darryl Williams winds up, and they meet him again with a great tackle. Brett Kenny right around the ankles. The referee says we'll come back here. And who's he calling out here? Peter Tunks.
Well, Peter gave him a little shove. It was very, very soft.
Here's the incident now. A little bit of shove in the back play there as Williams caught it up. So the Kiwis with a chance to gain some territory. Campbell takes the kick. O'Connor tries to take it, but it finds the line. Midway between the half and the quarter. Here come the runners in Rapati, the big fella, crawling another couple of metres. Harvey is the dummy half. Freeman calling for it now as they run it through with big Mark Graham. We've had Graham marked pretty well tonight. Here the switcher play now. Regan gets it back to Sorensen. Sorensen goes in hard, but there's too much defence there. The Australian defence waiting for the Kiwi runners tonight and doing a pretty good job of it. Harvey now gets it down to Freeman. Freeman puts it in the air. They've got plenty of chasers coming through the Kiwis. It's a high ball. Gary Jack, magnificent again under pressure, Jack. He's done this the whole season. He is so safe, Jack.
Just watching that New Zealand halfback, he's certainly he's very interesting to watch. He won't leave anybody's head alone.
Gary Jack, magnificent to these. The penalty now has gone to Australia. They're waving the Kiwis back. Sorensen arguing about it. He's having a bit to say, Robin Whitfield. Well, he's certainly been busy. He's been chatting all night. Ian Maurice.
Well, they call him have a chat. Here's the incident. And you'll find that it was the halfback and Sorensen also that mainly the halfback that wouldn't let him up the flat. That's the reason for the penalty. As Peter Tunks now in possession for Australia, 10 metres inside his own half as Roach gets a pass away to Pearce. Pearce almost into the clear. Caught by the jumper though by Mark Graham. Desperately close to making a clean break. Noel Cleal again. Straight on into the Kiwi forwards. What a solid tackling out there. Here's Sterling onto Lewis. The kick from Lewis is running straight towards the touch line as if it's on remote control. Over the line it goes. Queensland crowd are used to seeing that. And they appreciate the art that Wally Lewis has, particularly at this ground. He knows it so well. A little stab. And the ball just rolls over and over, straight towards that touch line. So the scrum down. This is the blind side look at this scrum. Only the second scrum of this match. And of course it's gone with the feed. But the Kiwis now with their backs to the wall, only 10 metres out from their own line. And there's a bit of an altercation between O'Regan and Pearce. We'll stick with the players. Harvey makes a break from dummy half. O'Regan and Pearce still pushing and shoving. They're clear now. Harvey plays it. Brent Todd. Welcoming committee there for him. Charge down. Sterling's dived on it, and Sterling says, and the referee says, that's fair enough, Sterling, you can play it. Well, the referee had other ideas. Said it was Freeman who was able to come up with it. Oh, a swinging arm from Roach. on Mark Graham. It missed. Now Gary Prone is caught. Watch this swinging arm again as Graham went in under it. Just before he ducked his head. Now Sorensen stumbles as he came to the line of defence. But New Zealand in possession, 40 metres out from their own line. It's back to O'Regan. Crowd thought there was a knock on. The referee thought otherwise as Gary Jack again takes it safely. He's beaten one. Caught by Sorensen around the top and Rapati around the legs, and Tunks is down. Tunks in back play down injured as Australia spin the ball wide. Now Kiss dancing and weaving. Tunks in an attempt to take that kick before ended up on the receiving end. Now here's Cleo in the clear to the quarter line. A pass that's gone a mile forward, picked up by Lewis. And the referees hold at play for the forward pass.
It was an accident on Tunks. He went to block the kick, and the kick, he ran into the boot. He got the kick away, got the ball away, but he ran straight into his foot.
Well, there it is there. You can see him grimace as he caught it in the ribs. So from the scrum, it's gone with the feet again. And the Kiwis are 15 metres out from their own line, in plenty of trouble, trailing by 10 points to nothing. As O'Hara got hit hard. That quarter boot, was it? It was pretty sick. As Todd takes it away. Oh, gee, there's some fierce tackling out there. O'Hara, there's blood streaming down O'Hara's head. Some headaches tomorrow. Caught Stevens folks' boot as he tried to retrieve the ball. The Kiwis, though, trying to beat this very strong Australian defence. New Zealand trainer in there working on O'Hara. As McGahn kicks it downfield, Gary Jack is there to field it. Jack now 10 metres short of the halfway mark, slips as he comes to the defence. Now here's Sterling and Lewis. Lewis with nowhere to go on this occasion. Now New Zealand have raked this ball back. Rapati said that's fair enough, but Australia regained it. So the tackle start recounts as Simmons makes another valuable 5 metres, and that's right on the halfway mark, you can see there. Across to Roach. Throwing it anywhere. Fortunately for Australia, Sterling was there to pick it up, and his pass has gone astray. Pearce is able to pick that up now. Folks caught high. O'Regan in there on a high tackle on Sterling. The referee immediately giving the penalty, and very quickly in to stop any repercussions that may have come about as a result of that tackle. Here it is. This is Folks. And O'Regan in high on him. So it's 10 points to nothing. Australia leading, Darryl.
Well, I'm not too impressed with what's going on in the back play and high tackles in this match. I mean, we knew it was going to be pretty tough, but it's getting pretty niggly out there, Jack Gibson. There's a lot of dirty stuff going on.
Well, I don't think the Kiwis can possibly break the defence of Australia. I think they're going to use a kicking game, but then again, this head-eye shot's not helping things.
And Australia keeping the ball wide now as O'Connor sees the line as the Kiwis come across. O'Connor, some beautiful footwork, and he was going for the corner. They just bring him down. A great run from Michael O'Connor. He stood up in offence. He had him shot to pieces, and they herded him over the touchline as Kenny now takes it for Australia. Back they come. The Australians throwing everything at the line. Kenny hurt at the moment. Let's stay with Sterling. He gets on to Lewis. Lewis now has got Miles inside, but he can't handle the ball, and the Kiwis will take it. 10 metres out from their line. Well, O'Connor had him stretched, and they herded him like cowboys with cattle over to that touchline and got him right, well, probably a metre short of the line. Here's McGahn now, dummy half. He gets it on to Sorensen. Sorensen winds up, and look at the body contact coming in here. He's just bustling players over, and he'll take everything they're throwing at him at the moment, Sorensen. He's big, tough, plenty strong. They get the line kick in, but it's back. It's out on the full. So the scrum will pack down just inside the 22.
This is going to be a tough area for they're inside their 22, and with an Australian feed, they're going to try and do something.
Pack weights, Australia 558, New Zealand 547. It's a scramble. New Zealand have got it. Freeman pays it back now. Out it comes along the line. Here's Olsen. Philippine have been quite so far, the big fella. Now he starts to bustle, but they've taken the ball again. Lewis quickly clears it, but the referee says no. Robin Whitfield with the signals. Oh, dear. See it again. Here's Wally Lewis. Takes the ball again for the second time. Flicks it back. And Robin says, no, I won't wear that one. So we'll have a scrum. There's bodies, there's soldiers down everywhere at the moment. Ball comes out to the Kiwis. Let's come back to some football. Out they come again, bustling. But look at this Australian offence. It's just one high, one low. Belt them down. Don't let them move. There's a wall going up. There's runners going everywhere. Big Mark Graham has wrestled down, and they're now midway between the quarter and the half. O'Regan, pretty fiery bloke, this fellow already. He showed us that at Carlisle Park. He's picked up Graham involved already. Now they start to spin it as Prome turns it back inside to Sorensen. Sorensen with a bit of room to move. Sorensen, they run him down and wrestle him down midway between the half and the quarter. The Kiwis on the rampage now. Australian offence slow to come back at the moment. Harvey gets it on to McGahn. He turns it back inside to Harvey. Harvey streaks it. He's got support inside with Todd. But a beautiful tackle on Todd brings him down. Simmons with a good tackle then. The ball comes back. McGahn picks it up. Starts to stride to the line. They belt him backwards too. 3 tacklers all the time. Robin Whitfield is saying recount again. So another 6 to go. O'Regan gets it to Freeman. Freeman, just stopped the jarring tackle. Brett Ketty. Big long pass this time to Mark Graham. A looper out for Rapati. He links up with Kemble. Kemble dancing, turns it back for Rapati. He can't take it. Oh yes, he says play on. Rapati heading for the line, and they've just got him about 4 metres out. So the Kiwis with a chance now. They're nice and deep. Mark Graham trying to unload, but they wrap him up. 3 Australians onto him. 4th tackle for the Kiwis at the moment. Now here's O'Regan running sideways, gets it onto Prome. Prome throws a loose one back. But there's a knock on there. Well, they had Australia stretched then, Jack Gibson.
They played that inside that 50 metres particularly strong, especially early when Kurt had the ball. Frome just couldn't get to him early in the piece.
And there's a little knock on there that gave that penalty. Scrum goes Australia's way. Sterling just takes the tackle. Gary Jack. A Connor dummy half. They try to run it out. Well, Australia pinned down deep in their 22 in.
The best chance that New Zealand's had to put points on the board. Now they must try and keep Australia pinned down, and they can't do it as Pearce, running off Boakes, makes a beautiful clean break, linking up with Kiss, but Kiss can't handle it. Over his head, knocked back to the referee, play on, as Miles gets one back to Simmons. Simmons showing a sidestep. Now he finally takes the tackle. Beautiful break from Pearce that was. And here's Kiss again, taking play inside New Zealand's half. 10 points to nothing. Australia lead. And New Zealand have come up with it. Back with O'Regan, now across to Sorensen, and then to McGahn. Oh, McGahn, nowhere to go then. Finally playing it to Darryl Williams. Williams back inside Australia's half. Harvey's a dummy half. Finally back to Prome. Running off him was Todd, now to McGahn again. McGahn, no one to pass to. Finally getting it back to Graham, and then Sorensen, and referee said that's no knock on. Play on, the Kiwis right away as the halfback. Freeman still going strongly, getting it back to Todd. Todd got a pass to Williams. Williams there for the Kiwis. Well, that's a controversial one. The crowd claimed there was a knock on back there by Sorensen. Referee said no sir, that's a try. It was good work from the halfback Freeman. Watch it with us. Now here's McGahn. He had no one to pass to. Finally got it back to that one there. There's a knock on there for sure. But the referee said to play on. And finally it was Harvey and Freeman linking up, and Freeman, the halfback, doing a bit of fancy dancing, getting it back to Todd, onto Williams. Williams did the rest, but for mine, that should have been no try, Jack.
Well, it was good enough for forward, maybe a little knock on, maybe a little forward pass, but they done something with the football, didn't they?
Okay, well, I reckon there was a knock on, but the referee said that'll do us. Some good work from the halfback, regardless of the knock on. He did well. Finally linking up with Todd, and that was a good ball from Todd as well.
We might sit Robin up here where we're sitting. He's got a far better view.
So now Olsen Filipina with the attempted conversion, 11 metres in from touch. Just 2 steps back. Concentration from Olsen. Moves into it, hit it pretty sweetly, and it's a beautiful kick from Olsen Filipina. That keeps the Kiwis right in this match. Australia 10, New Zealand 6. A very exciting test match coming to you live from Lang Park. Now it's Australia's turn to regroup. A controversial try that will be talked about for some time. Referee Robin Whitfield obviously didn't have as good a view of it as we did. Now Lewis restarts. Bouncing around for Dane O'Hara with his head heavily bandaged. You'll recall earlier his head was bleeding quite freely from a kick, accidental. Now O'Regan getting it back to McGahn, slipping a pass away to Rapati. But this time the referee spotted the knock-on and the crowd gives him a half-hearted cheer.
Well, that was 2 knock-ons there. But he's a risk to let the play go on, so it's no use dropping off. You've got to go to the football.
So the scrum for the knock-on has gone with the feed, and Pearce detached himself pretty quickly to pick it up. And the touch judge is in, and he spotted the halfback Freeman doing something he shouldn't have. O'Connor.
Well, the line umpire went in and backed off, put the flag up and backed off and went home again.
We'll let Australia run the advantage, I guess. Now, the back line of Australia moving freely as Gary Jack came into it beautifully, and Jack is caught just 3 metres short of the line. Now Australia with another golden opportunity to score as Sterling flicks it back inside for Lewis. Rushes aside one volley, slipped the pass away to Brett Kenny, and Kenny's in to score. Oh, beautiful work from Lewis and Kenny. Beautiful switch of play. Kenny was at dummy half, but came back to Sterling. Inside for Lewis, the change of direction. And look at that beautiful pass for Brett Kenny to go in and score. A very, very good try.
Well, it's a broken field try. Just the expertise of the individual got the ball across the line.
Makes a habit of it, doesn't he?
Well, he usually goes there once every Sunday.
Well, we saw the Kiwis behind their line a short time ago, and they were able to come back with a try, controversial though it may have been. Well, Stephen Folkes has left the field for Australia. Brian Niebling is on. Well, that's a blow for Australia. Check on that injury to Folkes. As O'Connor, right from the touchline, the kick is flagged away. 14-6 with 4 minutes of play remaining in this first half. Plenty of football left yet, Darryl.
Certainly is. Let's see if they come back. This side's shown us they've got plenty of character. Here's the replacement now, Stephen Folkes off. They're working on what looks like a thigh injury. Showing a bit of pain there. So Brian Niebling is on, and that brings a roar from the Queenslanders as he's announced. Rapati now restarts play. 3.5 minutes out from the break. Kiss. Brought down inside the 22. Sterling dummy half. As the runners come through, it's Niebling with his first touch. Takes play just almost out of that danger line as Simmons goes for another little gallop from dummy half. Oh, and they put it down with Tunks. So the Kiwis with the ball now. They've got a chance to put some points on the board. They've got the time. Olsen Filipina. Filipina wrestled down. running across the field. He's an easy mark like that. This man's strong and he runs forward. Prome. Oh, under a high one again too from Roach. Cool big swinging arm from Roach again. Back it comes. Prome been impressed tonight. So is O'Regan. And this fellow Todd, he's playing very well. Todd from the Linwood Club in Canterbury. As Mark Graham gets a nice ball off the deck, but they can't handle it. Australia comes up with it. Pearce now. They just come to him, but he's taken play well away from the 22, so out of that danger zone. Cleal starts to dance, unloads to Simmons. Simmons under on high. Simmons going. Geez, playing well, Simmons. Dangerous from that area, close to the rucks. Makes plenty of ground. He's the old-fashioned style of halfback, but by geez, refreshing. Roach.
Pearce certainly doesn't look too healthy out there. He's down. He's receiving attention.
Lots of swinging arms here tonight as Tunks now goes for a run. He's taken down. He's been playing with a bad knee and a hip injury for the latter part of this season. Niebling takes play right on the halfway line. Pearce still down on one knee now. He would be the fittest player playing rugby league, Pearce, so if he's down, he's hurt. Kemble. Back over the 22, Kemble. Still going, Kemble. Oh, and down they take him. And boy, oh boy, some high tackles here at Lang Park tonight. O'Hara can't handle it. Pearce still down in the back play, just resting on that one knee. Here's Todd. Tackle on the 22. Let's go back. Oh, he's hobbling badly, Pearce. Let's have a look how it happened. Well, there's the tackle. I'd say there's been a twist in there, but he's hobbling very badly and back on his knee again. But let's come back to the play. Kiwis have the ball on the 22. Mark Graham turns it back inside for Sorensen. Sorensen unloads well. That's Harvey, the hooker. Freeman gets on to McGahn. McGahn kicks. Pearce going off. O'Connor takes it for Australia as Pearce walks off the field. So Folkes and Pearce now off, and there's Pearce, and it's not very often you see that man come off the football field. On comes Lamb. A bad replacement, Jack Gibson. Terry Lamb.
Great replacement. I certainly want to watch him play, but not this way with Pearce off.
Takes his first pass. Terry Lamb, one of the best players playing the game, and can't get a start in this great side as Roach strides forward. Still going Roach as the Kiwis cling to him. And he's taken play now midway between the quarter and the half. Not long to go. Seconds remaining in this first half. It comes out to Lewis. Lewis gets it back to Terry Lamb. Lamb gets out of the tackle. Drives the ball for the line. And finds it. The referee, Robin Whitfield, says that's it for the first half. We have a lead of Australia 14, New Zealand 6. As the players leave, we'll take a break from Lang Park. Come back with Mike Gibson, Jack Gibson for the first half highlights for you.
Australia versus New Zealand. Australia well on top in the first half, scoring 3 tries to 1. The score is 14 points to 6. And Wally Lewis, the Australian skipper, is about to kick off in front of his hometown crowd for this, the second half. Your commentator is Ian Maurice.
Thanks, Mike. I suppose there'll be a lot of conjecture as to how the Australians will line up, Jack Gibson. You would presume that perhaps Lewis will revert to lock.
I think Lewis should still play 5'8". He's playing a great game there, and you've got T. Lamb. Well, his bloodlines are true. He's wherever they put him, he's going to play strong. He just doesn't have any poor games.
Dane O'Hara, who had his head split wide open in that first half, has it heavily strapped as referee Whitfield blows time on for the second half. Lewis taking an awful long time for this restart. I think he was kicking for goal the way he's lined that up. Sent it right down into the in-goal area, and that's why he's taken his time, because he's found the dead ball line, and Australia will get the ball back, because the rule is that if you kick it over the dead ball line from the start of play, the defending side will restart with a goal line dropout. That's why he's taken so long to kick it, Jack.
There's no communication there. The ball's arriving, and we've got 2 players there standing there like stumps. They never move.
A good start for Australia as Jack takes the restart. Takes it up towards the Kiwi quarter line, with Australia leading by 14 points to 6. This is Niebling inside the corner now. Simmons straight into that dummy half position, shows it either way and turns it back for Tunks, who's 12 metres short of the line. So Australia right on the attack from the opening whistle. Simmons getting it away to Sterling. Quick hands to Niebling, a dummy. Caught though by Freeman, 10 metres out. Terry Lamb, a low pass to Sterling, to Lewis, the little kick ahead, and there's Brett Kenny going for it, and he's in to score another try! Oh, what a beautiful kick and what a beautiful move from the Australians. Lewis quickly took it, and there was something on because he was not running at all. Watch it. Well picked up by Sterling, straight away the little kick, and Kenny knew exactly what was on, and there it stood up for him, and Kenny beautifully in for an Australian try in the opening 2 minutes of the second half.
I think they might have rehearsed this a couple of times, but the build-up for this particular try was the no communication on kick-off. Australia get the football.
It's 18 points to 6, Australia over New Zealand at Lang Park. Just the start that New Zealand didn't want. But really, they can only blame themselves because, as Jack Gibson pointed out, they were caught napping from the kick-off. And when they had to restart with a goal line dropout, that put the Australians right on the attack. And as a result, O'Connor now attempting the conversion. Oh, and he struck it magnificently. Oh, what a magnificent kick from Michael O'Connor. 20 points to 6. So New Zealand now really with their backs to the wall. The party will restart. Down for Sterling. Now Jack. The conversion attempt from Michael O'Connor. The touchline was just magnificent. Straight over the black dot, 20 to 6. Australia leads.
Yeah, certainly a great kick. Never touched the sides. It went straight through.
Now Australia in possession with Sterling. He's kicking. Oh, beautifully picked up. Magnificently kicked up by Darryl Williams. Now the Kiwis with their backs to the wall. This is Prome. Caught by Lewis and Sterling. And he's almost to the halfway mark. Gee, that was a magnificent take from Darryl Williams. On the half volley, magnificent. Now Freeman dancing around, going nowhere this time. And they've sent for the reserves. The troops have been summoned by the Kiwi camp as Filipina takes the tackle. Owen Wright, the veteran prop, about to come on. This is Mark Graham taking it up. And Shane Cooper also limbering up as McGahn kicks for touch. But O'Connor had it well judged. And O'Connor takes the tackle. Australia in possession, 32 metres out from their own line. Now Gary Jack from dummy half. Graham Lowe, the New Zealand coach, has wasted no time in rethinking his plans now, with the Kiwis trailing by 14 points with most of the second half left. Here's Tunks. It's a good tackle. Good combination tackle from Freeman. And also Graham. Gary Kimball out of one. Niebling, though, hanging on to him and bringing him down right on the halfway mark. 20 points to 6. What can the Kiwis do, Darryl?
They need to do a little bit more of what Gary Campbell just did. By gee, he ran through the Australian side. He's a good stepper, and that's what they've got to do. They've got to go forward with the ball. Australia already have just pinched it again. I mean, they're losing possession, New Zealand. Australia on every loose ball. And they're playing with so much determination as Roach brings it up. Roach with half a bust. Roach the big boy, gets one round the corner. Gets it on to Gene Miles. He's brought down inside the 22. And that was good defence from O'Hara, but here's Crusher Cleal. Cleal on the ball, gets a loose pass up, it'll go in. Miles, they pick it up. And they're just short. It's only centimetres in it now. The Kiwi defence stretched. Australia right on the line. Loose ball. Lewis falls on it. 6 to go, referee Robin Whitfield says.
Well, it was 6 or a penalty. He was offside.
6 to go, he says, Jack. As it comes out to Sterling, goes out to Gary Jack. Gary Jack tries to spin him, but a good tackle brings him down. Darryl Williams. Oh, geez, tackle well this Williams tonight. Sterling puts a reverse pass in. As they wrestle Simmons down. And they're just off centre on the 22. Lewis turns it back to Cleal. On the 22, Australia. Well, they were so close again, Australia. Lewis with another long floating out to Kenny. Kenny now links up with Gene Miles. He loses the ball down, and the Kiwis have it. Beautiful pass from Lewis. Miles just couldn't handle it. Here's Sorensen. Tries to belt his way out of that 22, but they bring him down. Oh, there's a few swinging arms again. Freeman and Roach. Roach says he hit me on top of the head, sir. The little man and the big man come together. And here come the replacements now. There it is, the swinging arm. Now watch this.
Well, Roach was determined to give a penalty away there. He just had nothing to do with the tackle.
Little pull of the hair too there, Jack.
He complained about it. That's the funny part.
Comments from Jack Gibson. Live from Lang Park. You're watching this, the third and very exciting test, live on Nine's Wide World of Sports. As McGann now takes the kick.
O'Hara and Todd been replaced.
Placements are on. Thanks, Ian. Plenty of firepower coming up for the Kiwis with some fresh players, but the scoreline reading 20 points to 6 Australia's favour as Harvey gets it out to Owen Wright. Goes forward 4 or 5 metres. O'Regan's been a little quieter. Here he is with the ball now. Good player this O'Regan. Mark Graham's made the bust. He's got Freeman in support, but couldn't unload, and Freeman was running like a shearer's dog beside the big man. But here we go now with Owen Wright. He slips a quick ball to Sorensen. They handball it back to Kemble. Again, it's on for McGann. McGann goes, still going. McGann almost to the 22. Flicks a wild pass back, ball loose, rolls into touch.
Well, that was fair enough too. It's just on a last place situation.
See it again. McGann now sort of running through, trying to break the tackle, and just lost the ball as he came down. Scrum packs now Australia's way. Kenny split him again. Support coming across. Kiss trying to link up. Kiss has got it now. Stands him up. Kiss, he's an exciting player. Throws the ball wildly back inside. Terry Lamb has towed it. And then Robin Whitfield brings it back. Well, it's happening here at 100 mile an hour. Listen to the crowd at Lang Park. Here it is now. Watch this. Kiss, he's an exciting player. Throws the ball loose. Terry Lamb puts the toe to it. Referee Robin Whitfield had brought it back. Kiwi ball. Oh, and a big tackle too from Wally Lewis. Freeman outside the 22. Well, Freeman's hurt. Lewis goes straight over him. They've got a lot of respect for this little halfback.
They might finish this game with 12 people. New Zealand.
Freeman from the Northcote Club in New Zealand. He's showed plenty of flair at the Sydney Cricket Ground. We'll have a look at the incident. He goes down now, and yeah, knee in the back. No doubt about that. Not intentional, I wouldn't think. Part of the tackle. Tough match this. It's Todd sitting over there nursing his shoulder next to Graham Lowe. Graham Lowe be a little shattered over this. His international record has been sensational. He was the first man to stop a 6-test winning streak for Australia. He's going off to Wigan in England in the new year. Next month he goes over to start his coaching duties there. Right, let's come back to the football now as Owen Wright comes back. Just outside the 22. Runners coming through O'Regan. Gets it on now to Graham. Graham's trying to unload, but he can't. Stands up, belted down. Harvey, a dummy half. On to Freeman, the man that was down. Into little chip over the top for Freeman. Can he get the bounce? He does! Freeman, he's a clever little player and he's got a bit of room to move. Defence comes across. Still going, Freeman. Barging his way through. Gets it on to Sorensen. Sorensen turns it back inside the frame. Oh, Harvey's there and it's a loose pass. They tried to handball it back, Kurt Sorensen, and it didn't work. But good play, New Zealand. Oh, put it down to Freeman. What an exciting little player he is. Now watch this. Watch Freeman. Steps there, holds the ball, throws a dummy, gets under Sterling, comes back the other way, unloads the ball, gets it onto Sorensen. Now Sorensen just spit him back. He gave it back to Prome. Prome unloaded very quickly. Sorensen then tried to handball it in and couldn't. But that's better play from the Kiwis. Well, the Australian players down at the moment, Gary Jack. Well, there's players down everywhere, Ian. This is a fierce pace.
Well, it's a sight that Balmain fans wouldn't be all that impressed with. Wayne Pearce nursing a what appears to be a pretty serious knee injury. Now Gary Jack, more bad news for Balmain. He appears to have maybe received a knee or something in the back. I don't often see this man leave a match early, so it's safe to assume that it's a fairly serious one. Now, it's okay to have a drink, so he slowly getting to his feet. 20 points to 6. Australia lead New Zealand. And the New Zealand skipper Mark Graham, desperate to get points on the board. Must keep Australia pinned down here if they're to do that. Miles just short of the quarter line. Simmons is dummy half, away to Roach. This time away to Tunks, so the green machine sharing the ball carrying duties. Tunks may have lost it. Sorensen desperately trying to grab it, but Tunks says it's mine, but the referee says no, it's nobody's. Scrum to go down right on the Australian quarter line. By Freeman, but not to the satisfaction of referee Whitfield. Again Freeman feeds, and again it's gone with the feed. Kimball comes into the back line. We're going to run around with McGann, Williams at least. Owen Wright. Australian defence has been very, very good all night. Now Mark Graham stepping, turning a ball back inside for the hooker Harvey. And he's caught only about a metre or two from the line, so the Kiwis really launching a strong attack now. Spinning it wide from O'Regan. Out to Cooper. Cooper. Last tackle signal now for the Kiwis. Out for Graham. The defence too good, hanging on to him, and that's a changeover. Roach wants to go on with it. McGann says, I'll have a bit of this, and so does Tunks.
Roach and Freeman have been at it all night, with one of the biggest men on the field and certainly one of the smallest.
Penalty's gone to Australia from the Nanalo. It's on now. Steady on, fellas. Well, it was only a matter of time. There's Kiss getting a few good right uppercuts in there. And in the background, Royce Simmons exchanging punches. Oh, it's all on. Everybody's involved. It's spilled over the dead ball line. Freeman wants to go on with Simmons. Well, I think everybody on the field was involved in that. It has been simmering right through this match. Who started it is anybody's guess. It started probably from the kickoff. Sorensen having plenty to say. Here's how it started, perhaps. It was kicked through by Freeman. Freeman dived on the Australian player, Cleal, and from then on it was everybody. Watch Kiss. 1, 2, and another one. And in the background, Simmons is letting a few good right hands go. Boy, oh boy. How can you adjudicate on that? Well, everybody's been called in.
They look like they're playing two up.
Blood streaming from Steve Roach. Could be a referee. This is just before the action all started as Graham came in. Roach over the top. Oh, yes, there was an elbow went in there.
Well, I think Mr. Roach can take credit for the starting.
Freeman took objection to the elbow. And the pushing and shoving developed. Now, what's happened? Let's get back to the action here. Back live. The penalty has been given to Australia, but bear in mind the penalty had been given before the brawl started. So a general caution issued to everyone as Australia try to get it out from the danger zone. Here's Roach, 2 balls on the field. They got rid of one. Now Simmons getting it away to Lewis. Into McGahn. They hold him. McGahn and O'Regan. 20 points to 6, Australia lead in this sometimes brutal test match. Tunks. 32 metres out from the Australian line. Simmons on his own, but the penalty's been given to Australia. Again, the New Zealanders creeping inside the 5 metres. Well, now the referee is going to have to get back to the situation that he adopted at the beginning, because he kept them well back 5 metres, and after that all in brawl, you can bet your life he'll try and do it again. 20 points to 6, Darryl.
All happening here. The fireworks not just on the perimeter of the ground tonight, as we expected. It's a tough one. The 2 best nations in the world hard at it as Roach goes forward. Blood streaming out of the nose, Roach. Goes on to Niebling. Look at the Kiwis beat him too. Venom in every tackle. Midway between the half and the quarter, the Kiwis into the ground. Australia with the ball. Sterling. Cleo winding up. Puts one out the back door, and there's another swinging arm from Sorensen as they go down. Australia nice and deep now. Sterling gets it on to Lewis. Lewis goes back inside. A lovely ball off the ground, but no one there to take it. They're standing around, and look, Russia says, I'll have a run. He lets it go. Still loose. The referee says play on as Niebling takes it up to the 22. Inside the 22 is Niebling. Leaves it back to O'Connor. Here's Sterling. He'll put it in the air. And plenty of chasers coming through, and they'll need some courage to take this one. The ball goes up. Waiting on referee. No try. Well, Robin Whitfield really bent down and had a good look then, Jack, didn't he?
Well, he went down for an inspection. I don't know what he was looking for.
Here it is again, as up they go from another angle, and you can see the ball loose, hands going everywhere, and Robin Whitfield did the right thing. He went and had a real good look before he awarded that scrum 5 metres out from the line. Right, in it goes. Let's see what happens in this scrum. It's twisting around. There's players on top of each other. Now it's Australia's ball. Here's Gary Jack. Pass out for O'Connor. Oh, and Freeman came in again. Well, Freeman might be tiny, but I tell you what, there's plenty of spark in him. He likes to throw a few. Sterling throws one out to Lewis. Lewis, it goes back to Gene Miles, and Gene Miles will put it over the block. And that's Australia's answer to the violence. Well scored tries. You throw the punches. Well, it all started with O'Connor there. Plenty of sparks going, but Sterling quickly got it to Lewis. Lewis gave it to Big Gene Miles. He just stepped back inside and right between the posts. And look at the elation coming out of the Queenslanders. I think Wally's getting emotionally involved there for a moment as Lewis comes back inside. And there he is, Big Gene Miles slams it down for 4 points for Australia. And Wally getting emotionally carried away. Good stuff. Okay, scoreline at the moment, 24-6 Australia over New Zealand. And the kick successful with O'Connor. So scoreline now. Moving on further to Australia's way, 26-6. Kiwis back to the halfway line with Joe Rapati. Five tries Australia has scored now as the ball is kicked off again. Taken by Sterling. Gives it to O'Connor. This is Tunks. Settle down a bit now. Royce Simmons, dummy half for Crusher Cleal. Out of one. Gets the ball out to O'Connor. And Michael O'Connor successful with that attempt right in front. Scoreline 26-6 Australia's way as they get the ball again. Gary Jack raids away. There's plenty going on the back play, but Jack's put the ball in the air. The chase is on. The ball bouncing into the line. Campbell picks it up, and Jack picks him up, and he gets out of the field of play. Whoa, good football. Just out by centimetres now. Rapati puts the head down and goes 4 or 5 metres. Mark Graham flicks one inside, no one waiting for it. O'Regan's belted down, they try and drag him in a touch. He manages to stay in the field of play. Oh, what about that on Owen Wright? They've just back slam right. The big men meet at Lang Park, third test. And you're seeing it live on Nine's Wide World of Sports.
New Zealanders with Williams desperately throwing a pass. Oh, he's danger. Mark Graham's made the best of it. It's loose. And the referee said that he forced it over the line, the New Zealand side. Oh, boy, that was trouble for the Kiwis. They seem to be very lethargic in this danger area here, Jack.
Well, they didn't know what they were doing. They're trying to shape up for a kick, but time ran out on them, and Sterling come down there and put havoc into the camp, and time becomes a kick. They couldn't find a boot.
So goal line dropout. Kimball sends it straight down to Gary Jack. Gee, there's been some good players in this Australian side tonight. And Jack's one of them. Finally caught on the quarter line as we're midway through the second half of this third test match. Final game of the representative season for 1986 as Niebling plays it. Simmons, a quick pass to Tunks. And Tunks trying to offload. Been knocked down by the New Zealanders, and the referee signals a tackle count to restart. Now Wally Lewis to Jack. And Jack, well, he shaped a kick, but threw the ball too far in front of him. The Kiwis have come up with it. Getting a little over ambitious here, the Australians, as Owen Wright brings it up towards the quarter line. Caught though by Roach and Lamb. Now here's Sorensen. Flips the pass nicely away to Cooper. Back for Graham. He picks it back to the halfback, Freeman. And Freeman playing beautifully, almost to the halfway mark. Another fine run from this very, very smart halfback from the New Zealand side. The penalty's been given to New Zealand. They're holding him down and to play the ball, not letting him get up. He's had a fine game, the Kiwi halfback. It's G. Miles who wouldn't get off him. Kimball has kicked for touch. Watch that replay. And now the Kiwis on their own quarter on the attack as Harvey gives it away to Owen Wright. He's caught though by Roach and Simmons. Slow to get up there and Wright. Another penalty's been given to New Zealand. Australia offside in the play the ball. And they've taken a quick tap, the Kiwis, putting something on as Williams reaches out for the line and is just short. Filipina at dummy half. Away goes Graham. Slips it back for Filipina. Trying to find a way through. Harvey dived at the line as if he had it, but he didn't. Now it's back for Graham. Caught up just a few metres out. Harvey's dummy half. The run around, the bad pass. Well, that's bad play from the Kiwis as Prome picks up the dregs. The little kick through from Prome. Simmons is back there to pick it up. Does so. Caught by McGann. Sloppy play from New Zealand. Scoring opportunity went begging then as Jack now was caught in a pretty hefty tackle from McGann. A metre or so out from the Australian line. Miles from dummy half makes another couple of metres. Gets it away to Tunks. Now another penalty's been given before Sterling can kick that ball. And again, it's because of the Kiwi side up inside the 5 metres. As we suggested, after that all-in brawl, referee Whitfield making sure they stay back 5, and there's, as you can see there, very quick, and they were inside the 5.
There's 15 minutes to go, and they need a couple of 10-point tries.
Steve Roach. 5 metres short of the halfway mark. Simmons away to Tunks. The green machine sharing the ball carrying duties. You know, played strong, the Australian front row tonight. Now here's Niebling. Right on the halfway mark, Niebling, as he's caught. Simmons pass finds Cleal. Cleal still going strongly, getting a good pass away for Steve Roach. The Australians launching another attack, and the Kiwi running back onside got in the way, and he had to give that penalty. Well, McGann was just wandering back from an offside position, got in the way, so Australia get the penalty. Here it is. McGann walking back onside. So another scoring opportunity for Australia and Michael O'Connor. This with 2 shots. This one is from right in front, and he's situated about 32 metres, or about 30 metres in fact, from the line. Already 26 points to 6. Trainers on for both sides, delivering messages as O'Connor lines this one up. It's a good look at it. Left the boot sweetly, and it's right between the posts. So Australia further in front by 28 points to 6. And we have just under 14 minutes of play remaining in this 3rd Test match.
Right, this Kiwi side, plenty of spirit still there. They want to put some points on the board, salvage a lot of pride. They've met on a very, very tough and very talented and skillful Australian side in this series. Taken by Sterling. Gets it out to Gary Jack. Jack winds up. They meet him centre field, just short of the 22. Oh, gee whiz, there's still big tackles going in there, let me tell you. So Connor will play it back. Comes back to Lewis, on to Sterling. Miles. Sorensen laying all over the top of him. Sterling. And on come the runners, that's Niebling. Having a little facial. Sterling in the air. Kimball takes it nicely. This Australian defence just straight up. Terry Lamb that time with a tackle on Kimball. Rapati. Read Rapati pretty well. He's pretty fast and strong, but he hasn't had a lot of chances. Every time he's had the ball, Australia right on him. Reagan gets it across for Prome. He can't take it though. And Olsen Filipina cleans it up for the Kiwis. Back to Harvey, a dummy half. Owen Wright. Last tackle for the Kiwis. Cooper, this time doing the kicking. Taken by O'Connor. O'Connor gets out of one. Gets the ball away to Kenny. Kenny now puts the pace on. Kenny winding up. Black jumpers meet him though. They're laying all over the top of him here, and silly play at this stage of the match. Go the other side, the blind side of Australia this time, but they lose the ball. New Zealand have it, and the referee says play on.
Now, New Zealand trailing by 22 points now. On right. Mark Graham combining. Graham slipping it away to Freeman. Well, I'm glad that I'm not the only one trying to judge a midfield man of the match tonight. Very difficult. A lot of good players out there as the Kiwis desperately trying to find holes in this very strong Australian defence. Prome finally caught. It's it back to McGann. Down for Les Kiss. Takes it calmly. Takes play back inside the New Zealand half. Simmons again from dummy half. Made another 5 metres. Gee, he does that a lot, Simmons. Now Lewis. Sterling. Gary Jack did well to pick that up. Out for O'Connor. O'Connor still going, stepping nicely. Finally caught though by Filipina. Way to Niebling. 5 metres inside the New Zealand half. Simmons away to Sterling. The kick through from Sterling has been taken by McGann. Did well to offload to Kemble. And Kemble skirting wide, stepping nicely, but caught ankle tapped in fact by O'Connor, who finished him off with the help of Cleal. Back to Sorensen. Offloading finally to Filipina. He did well to get his hands free and offload to O'Regan, to McGann, and on to Prome. Converge on him, but he's still able to make some progress. Finally, when he's caught, he's 32 metres out from the Australian line. It's to O'Regan. Long floating pass for Filipina. Clever ball underneath, beautiful pass away for Darryl Williams. Darryl Williams for the line, caught by Jack. Oh, lovely tackle, Jack. Oh, that's beautiful football. Beautiful attack and magnificent defence. Watch that again with us as Williams got a lovely pass from, stepped nicely, but Jack covered him beautifully and pushed him over the touchline.
Yeah, all he needed was a receiver. 7, the halfbacks coming across, but he arrived on the scene far too late.
Australia now with the ball. O'Connor. Lays it back to Cleal. On to Lewis. Almost easing Lewis down to the ground that time. The two big men, right. Back it comes. T. Miles will play it just short of the 22. Simmons on the Roach. That's the 22 line you can see now. So Australia getting out of the danger as they give it a crush at Cleal. He winds up. Cleal with a good run, but some good defence too, with Harvey and also Sorensen there to make the tackle. Cleal a bit slow to get up that time too. Sterling now decides to get out of there. Turns the ball back, and Kemble has got to go back for it. Takes it in his in-goal area. Runs it out now. Has some support. Decides to take the tackle. And Australia chasing very well tonight, Jack.
Well, they chased the kick. They've got the old pot black tonight.
Williams will play it back. McGann, he plays his heart out for New Zealand, this McGann. By geez, a good player. Running forward all the time. Spinning around trying to unload it. Now they get it away. And that's Harvey, but he can't unload. Still inside their own quarter. Plays it forward. New Zealand now the long pass. Let's see. Filipina tries to unload. Can't though, and can't handle it. He's juggled the ball. And we'll see Australia will come up with it. Yes, Australia's ball. Well, a bad mistake again from New Zealand. They're trying to push the passes now to get some points on the board. Lewis loses it. And referee says we'll have a scrum. And that'll be packed midway between the half and the quarter, New Zealand's end of the field. Well, Jack, New Zealand pushing the ball, I guess they've got to try, but they're making some bad mistakes, aren't they?
Well, they're making plenty. They've got to make a few too. There's 6 minutes to go. They can make a lot more. They got to, every time they get the ball, they've got to go for try.
Filipina again gets on a Prome with a break. Now they've got a bit of room to move. He flicks one back inside the Freeman. Freeman winds up. He's got Filipina there. And he's looking for support. Filipina kicks out of one. And a great tackle. Oh, beautiful tackle from Wally Lewis. Stop the movement dead. But they're still inside the 22. A chance now. Unloading. Good ball back inside. Ropati will play it. Goes from Prome out wide. Mark Graham. Mark Graham now 10 metres out. Cooper, a dummy half. Out it comes to McGahn. He gets it on to Sorensen. Sorensen out wide. Good ball for Williams. Williams heading for the corner. They're in. The Kiwis have finally got over. Well, Daryl Williams. Second try, and he deserved it too. He's played well all night. He's tried very, very hard. He's got plenty of pace, this fellow. And a pretty big heart. He hasn't stopped trying all night. Now watch it here. Cooper got it out to McGahn. McGahn gets it across to Sorensen. Sorensen, beautiful little short pass up for Williams. And he's got the pace, Williams, and over in the corner.
Well, it was a beautiful little forward pass, but he still got it away. Certainly got some speed, that too.
Daryl Williams, he's had plenty of raps in New Zealand as having so much pace, Jack, and he of course played in the fullback role at Carlisle Park in the mud. Graham Lowe wasn't very happy with his performance because he said he wasn't keen enough, so he dropped him at the Sydney Cricket Ground and brought him back tonight.
Well, he hasn't had the ball in his hands many times.
Filipina now 3 metres in from touch, right on the 22. Not an easy angle. He's only taken 2 paces back. He certainly got the height and got the 2 points. So Olsen Filipina puts some more points on the board. It's now 28-12 Australia-New Zealand. Well, as New Zealand showed the character that we know this side has got, they're not a bad side. The 2 tests previous to this, the scoreboards probably didn't indicate the trend of play. But this Australian side's a very, very good side as Lewis drives it off now. And this fellow's tried hard all night, Freeman. By geez, he's really impressed a lot of players in Australia. Came into play in the second test and had a good game there too. Certainly their best player tonight in my eyes anyway. Sorensen now running across field, tries to link up, and there's a little reverse pass. Sorensen handling twice. They wrap him up on the 22. Standing, look at the strength of this Sorensen. 3 Australians on him, but he still stands. Owen Wright, well, have been... Now that's the 9th offside play. The 9th offside play. And the Kiwis will now find some territory. And they be hungry to get another try, Jack.
Time's going to beat them. They've got 2 minutes, 50 seconds to go.
Let's see what they do. Owen Wright takes the settler.
Well, the way it's been played, I think Australia got more chance of scoring because they're going to take the risk here.
Mark Graham back to Sorensen, gets on a Prome with a wild pass out and rolls it a touch. Rapati had no chance of getting that. The Australians applauded. Here it is now, Prome just trying to slip the pass. 1, it was forward, and 2, Rapati had no chance of getting it. Sterling now. Beats for Australia, and it'll be Australia's way too. Out to Lamb. Lamb puts the ball in the air. The chasers are coming through. Can Gary Jack get the bounce? He does! Gary Jack gets the bounce, but there was just no one there. Gist tried to get with him, but couldn't. That's a good play for the Australians. They're trying everything. Gist now from dummy half. Winds up. He's 12 metres out from the line. Can Australia score now? Jack Gibson read it. He said they had more chance. Here it goes. Lewis. Long floater out. Goes to Kenny. They get a good call and they've scored. Australia's gone in with only seconds to go. And look at Don Furner. All smiles. Great try from Australia. teamwork of this side now. As Sterling slips it out, he gets to Lewis. Lewis with a beautiful pass, gets it to Kenny. Kenny with a long floating pass also for O'Connor, and no one there. Prame got there far too late. O'Connor over.
Didn't want to put the ball down this winger. He wondered he's going to try and march infield a little bit. He hasn't had it that much, so I suppose he wanted to massage it just a couple of seconds longer.
Well, that's pushed the scoreline a bit further now to an embarrassing stage. Australia 32, New Zealand 12 with a kick to come. And Mark Graham really laying down the law to this New Zealand side. He's having plenty to say, not happy about that at all. Very proud player, Mark Graham. He prides himself on the captaincy of this side. And look at him saying, come on. O'Connor's going to come on. He's going to try and put it over. He's about half a metre in from touch and about half a metre from the 22. A difficult angle. Looks good. Looks good. No, just waved away. Certainly got the height and distance, but just offline. Well, 30 seconds remaining. There'll be a countdown here at Lang Park. And what a great performance from Australia. They've whitewashed the Kiwis in this series, 3-0. Kiwis kicking off quickly. They want to play it out. Kiss, that beautiful step that he's got. And here's the countdown. And it's all over at Lang Park. Australia have defeated New Zealand 32 points to 12, winning the series in a clean sheet, 3-0. And what a magnificent series it's been too. The Kiwis put up a brave showing at Carlisle Park, another one at the Sydney Cricket Ground, and again here at Lang Park. They weren't good enough. But they're the second best side in the world at the moment. But Australia certainly the best side.
And tonight's Test match coverage has been presented in association with the Lion Corporation. So there it is, the Australians really far too good, scoring 6 tries to 2 and beating the Kiwis at Lang Park in Brisbane tonight by 32 points to 12, and a convincing 3-0 win in the series for Australia. And in fact, they take their first World Cup points with that win tonight. So 32 points to 12, and the Kiwis now head off to Papua New Guinea. Well, that's our rugby league coverage for tonight.